In this video, we will be going over the Data tab and how to import and export files. From the main screen, I'm going to go to Data. And inside Data, I have all these options. We'll get to Sites in a minute. Control File. This is where your control and/or job site localization is going to sit. Currently, I have no control. Layers. Currently, I have one default layer, but there's no points or lines in it. Points. I don't have any points. This is a blank project, so no points. Line work. No lines because there is no lines in this project currently. Same with surfaces, no surfaces. We have our actives. There's not going to be any active surfaces because there's none in the project. We have import-export. I currently can import in items if I would like. And then we have Calc Wizard, which is a bunch of advanced options that we can do inside Pocket 3D that we'll cover later in later videos. If I go back to Data, I'm going to go to Sites, and these are all the sites that are currently on this device. Up here in the corner, you'll see that I have a couple different sites. Two of them are named the same. One of them has an emblem on the side with this little link, and it kind of looks like an S. That is a SiteLink site. That is managed from the cloud. This is a cloud-based job site. I cover this in other videos. Currently, right now, I am on the blank project, and I don't have any information on it because there's nothing in it. What I want to do first is I want to copy in a project. I do not import-export projects. TP3 files. I only copy them in. So first thing I'm going to do is tap Copy. And it's asking where it's coming from. It is coming from my USB storage D drive. That's my thumb drive that's in my device. I'm going to click on that. And then where is it going to go to? It is going to go into my internal storage, so it's held on the device. If I have files on my laptop or whatever it is that I'm working with, a field controller is technically a PC, so you'll have a Downloads folder. You can go ahead and browse your File Explorer. Just like that. In this instance, I'm going to use my USB drive, and I want to copy in this 7933 Training Center. I'm going to say OK. File copied successfully. So I just copied that one in, 114 with the timestamp. Everything's there. There's the size of it. Okay, we want to keep this folder should be under 8 gigabytes. After that, Pocket 3D kind of likes to slow down, so we recommend staying under 8 gigabytes of storage within this folder. Surfaces, there's 5 points, 19. And lines, there's 212 lines polylines inside of this project. If I come down to details, it's telling me right here that there's 20 control points. There is a localization inside of that TP3 file that I imported. How many layers and all the other information. I'm going to say close. I'm going to say OK. Do you want to change to the new site? I'm going to say yes. I do. And then there's my new project. Right there. Now if I go back to Data, you can see my control points, how they have yellow around them. That means that I'm localized. Those are localized points. So if I go to Control, here's my localization. File. Now what we can also do is drop in a TP3 file without a localization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my localization file. I'm going to just long hold the screen in the middle. I'm going to say Select All, and I'm going to come down to the bottom and say Delete. I'm going to say Yes. There it is. So I'm going to say OK. So now my control points are gone, and it says no site localization again. Now if I want, I can import in couple different file formats. I can actually just import in a text file. I would then have to localize the points on the project. I can also just import in a GC3 file that's not localized, and then localize on it. And then also, obviously, import in a localization complete so that I'm up and running. Fire launch up to base, and I'm up and running. So to import and export a control file, I'm going to go to Import Export. I'm going to go to Import because that's what I'm doing. Import. What am I importing? It could be control points only or localization. So we saw what localization looks like. So what I'm going to do is import in only control points. Now it's very common to only get control points that aren't localized on. So this is a good workflow to know how to do that, to import them in. Where is it coming from? So coming from either a GC3 file, it can actually be a point file now. This is a new feature in 15 code. But most of the time, it's going to be a GC3 file. Or what it's going to be is this text, top context. And this is a text format. Very important though. Inside of that text file, you must have it in this organization or it will not come up. So for instance, if I was to open up a text file, control points like this, they would need to be labeled like this. So it'd be the name of it, the ID. This is a northing, an easting, and an elevation. And then this is actually a description over here. So if these are not labeled correctly, this import will not work. So make sure that you make this correct, the format, which is going to be in here, correct first. So to do that, I'd come down and go to this text, and I would select it. Okay, now this one's named correctly, so it's going to work. And it should come that way by default. But if you needed to change it, I can go down to the bottom left corner, go to Format, select Top Context. And, by the way, you see that there's CSV too, so it could be a CSV or text, doesn't matter. I'm going to select that. I'm going to say Edit. And this is where I can add new items. Okay, point name, all these different things. So go ahead and play with that, and it'll make sense to you. Trail comma. The way it is, it's either it's a trail space or trail comma. So if there's a trail comma inside that text file like mine, I want to make sure that it's set to trail comma. I'm going to say OK. There it is. I'm going to delete it actually because I don't need it. It's already up there. So there it is. I'm going to say Close. I'm importing it. There it is. It's on my thumb drive. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to say Next. And then it had asked me which ones I want to import, and I'm going to just click on all of them. Once again, you can long hold the screen and say Select All, and then say Next. There it is. I've just imported any control points. It's not localized, but they're just raw numbers. I say OK. Now there's my control points. You notice how they don't have a yellow around them though, right? It's because they're not localized. So I'm going to go to Control, and you see how now they're just gray and they're not localized. So now what I need to do is I need to launch my base, connect to my rover, and localize the control points that I want to use for my localization.